Alright, hey everybody, MTG Metalhead from MTG Archives here for another video. It's been a while, and I'm sorry about that. A lot has happened. Let me do some catching up here. So, during my last video, I was playtesting one of Patrick Wu's versions of the deck, and then was talking about how I was going to probably take that to the Regional Championship in Atlanta, which occurred a couple weeks ago, and I did. His list changed a little bit since the last time I updated it. You're looking at the list I actually played in the event. This was the same 75 that I ended up playing. Unfortunately, it did not do well at all. And we're going to talk about that. But basically, I wanted to first tell you why it's been a while since I've made a recap video on what happened. I intended on doing it right when I came back. Unfortunately, life got in the way. That's the best way to put it. Originally I was going to make one more video before going to Atlanta. Unfortunately, due to timing constraints and due to some last minute testing I had to do, I could not make that video. So I decided instead to record a couple things for down the pipeline, which I'll talk about here in a little bit, and I would focus on gameplay once I came back. I didn't want to post a video I did record, because I did record another video, because it had Patrick Wu's 75 going into the event. And the only people that knew that 75 would have had to be on his Discord. And I didn't want to be the guy that just randomly put up the deck list online. Now granted, I don't have a lot of followers or people that watch my channel, but even still, just in case I didn't want to post somebody's deck list that wasn't made public, he only made that available to us in his Discord, his patrons, so I just didn't feel right doing that. So I didn't want to put that video up until after the event. If it was just me making the deck list, I wouldn't have cared. But because I was following someone else's deck list, I just didn't feel right doing it. In any case, once I came back from the event, I felt very, very sick. I didn't have like any sickness that I got from the event. I was actually sick going into the event. I had some sort of stomach virus or something like that. I think it was food poisoning. It was bad. Let's just say going to the event wasn't the most comfortable of circumstances, but by goodness I went. In any case, I battled it out, did not do well. In day one of the event, well actually, sorry, let me rewind that. When we got there in Atlanta on Thursday, we spent a while playtesting, and it was mostly the red-black matchup because the two people I went with were playing red-black variants, and I was smashing them pretty much all day long. So it was going pretty well. I was very excited about it. On Friday, we played a 1 p.m. event just to get some bearings on what we were going to see. Ended up playing against Lotus Field combo round 1, got smashed. Played against a weird but very cool mid-rangey red-white deck round 2. I did beat them. And then round 3 got paired against Fires, which is normally a bye. And unfortunately we couldn't finish the match. We went to time. To be quite fair, I'm pretty sure I would have got that match if we had not gone to time. But alas, we went to time. So ended up going 1-1-1. Not exactly the most optimistic of showings. And then on Saturday when the event actually started, my first round was against Amalia combo, which usually, again, very good matchup for us. Unfortunately, they were on the Amalia list that was playing sideboard tech, and specifically they were playing Aetherflux Reservoir. And I wasn't prepared for that. I didn't think about how to sideboard against that because I was just following Patrick Wu's sideboard guide, which was my first mistake. I should have adjusted on the fly, but I thought that, if I try to adjust on the fly, maybe I'll screw things up. So I decided to just go with what his plan was because I knew he was honestly a better Magic player than I was. So I was trying to follow what he was saying. Regardless, I ended up not sideboarding in any counter spells, siding out all my counter Magic and discontinuities, and got wrecked because game 1 I won. Just to clarify that. I was on a mold 4, my opponent was on a mold 5. I still won. I had 2 temporary lockdowns. It won the game single-handedly. Game 2, he was able to combo off after I stopped him twice, and then eventually he drew Aetherflux Reservoir, cast it, and I couldn't do anything, and then he just beamed me to death, so I was dead. Game 3, we went in a pretty tight back and forth game. I stopped him from comboing quite a few times. I mean, a lot, until eventually finally I couldn't. He comboed. I was able to stop myself from dying, but then he was able to again Aetherflux Reservoir, and then I just died. So I lost Amalia combo round 1. Not exactly a great start. Round 2, I get paired against Lotus Field combo. Really cool person that I met while playing, and we had a lot of fun playing, but they smashed me. It wasn't even close. I did get a cool game too where I was able to land an early Teferi and just completely destroy him with Unwind. But otherwise, games 1 and 3, he just wiped the floor with me. So it was 0-2 starting, not the greatest start. And for those of you who may not know, in these regional championships, you have to pretty much get 6 match wins or better to day 2. And in specific, this tournament was very weird. They decided to have 9 rounds day 1, which is normal. And then they had a 10th round at the end of the day, which is actually the start of day 2, on day 1. So it's super weird, but that is what they did. So you pretty much play your 9 rounds, figure out if you made day 2, then you play your first round of day 2, and then call it a day. Then you'd have 4 more rounds the next day, and then it cut to top 8. In day 1, I was 0-2 starting, and then I got paired against another Amalia combo deck. Again, a really cool person. We had a lot of great chatting, a lot of great fun, talked about a lot of stuff, and we ended up going into turns. I got him in a pretty quick game 1. Game 2, he got me. He was able to combo me. I had no answers. He attacked me for a billion. I died. Game 3, we went back and forth, and it was a weird circumstance where I'm not sure either one of us were necessarily favored because we just begun the match. We both made some plays that probably weren't optimal, but we were doing so for time constraints, and we just couldn't play it out. At the end of the day, I looked at the circumstances. I looked at this. I'm like, this is a draw, which is essentially the same as a loss for the sake of argument. I now have to win the next 6 matches in a row in order to qualify for day 2. Then even if I do that, I have no chance of top 8ing with this record. None whatsoever. The best I can hope for is possibly squeezing into top 32, and even that's sketchy with a record like that, because the likelihood of me going completely undefeated through the rest of my rounds, given how everything had been going, was highly, highly improbable. So the way I looked at it was, I can either fight it out tooth and nail for the next several hours, feeling completely miserable the entire time, because I'll be honest with you, I did not like where the deck was. And that's something I haven't mentioned up till now. But pretty much Friday, when I started examining everything, I really turned around my idea of the deck. I completely regretted the decision. The more I looked at it, the more I liked regular blue-white control, and I'll tell you why. Because another thing that we haven't got to talk about is the bannings. They banned Karn and, of course, Appraiser, just like we talked about on the channel last time. And unfortunately, although that I think those bannings were appropriate, it really hurt us, because those were 2 matchups our deck wanted to play against. We wanted to play against Mono Green Devotion. We wanted to play against the combo, and we were great against them. Unfortunately, those bannings shifted the meta and completely changed the types of decks we saw at the RC. I feel like if those bannings hadn't happened, our deck would have been highly favored going into the meta. With those decks banned, it was a crapshoot. And unfortunately, we got hosed in that exchange. So that is the TLDR of that. And the last piece here that I want to touch base with and talk about on here is basically my thoughts going into the tournament. I basically had no faith in the deck. And that was because I saw the way the meta was shifting, and Amalia combo was not as cold to us as I once thought they were. I mean, we are favored in that matchup the majority of the time. However, a skilled Amalia player can basically get themselves into a position where we're constantly on the back foot. They're going to combo and leave a piece on top that's going to either revive everything or make them be able to recombo with a Coco or something like that. And it just sets them up way better, so that we have to pretty much answer them every other turn in order to keep them off the combo. And then any of the players playing the Aether Reservoir just get to Starbeam us to death, and there's pretty much nothing we can do if we don't have counter spells. But if we keep in counter spells, it's not that great. So I'm not saying it's a bad matchup. I just think it was not as favored as maybe I had thought going into the tournament. The deck is quite resilient, unfortunately. Well, unfortunately for us, I should say. Great for them. Then another thing is, I was not anticipating the popularity or how popular Lotusfield Combo was. Like, Lotusfield Combo is a deck we knew was going to be there in some numbers, but it was very, very represented from at least the tables I saw, and yeah, it was smashing left and right. So it was just one of those things where the meta did not work out in our favor, and it made me feel very unfavored, and that's why I made the decision in round 3 to give my opponent the win, instead of taking the draw for both of us, which would have screwed us both over. So I decided to give him the win, because I was like, I will take the loss, take a drop, give my opponent a better shot, and just try to enjoy side events and have fun. And you know, that's what I did. I had a lot of fun. You can side events, hang out with friends, getting to see people I haven't seen in a long time, catching up. So it wasn't a total loss. I wasn't too upset. You know, I wasn't mad. Yes, obviously I would like to have done better, but you know, it is what it is, and I'm not, you know, truly that upset about what happened. You know, it's just a part of the game. Then in day 2, I ended up playing in a 5K. And did not do well there either. Went 0-2 drop, because there you pretty much were, if you get up to 2 losses, you couldn't make the top 8, and it was the top 8 where all 8 people got invites to the next regionals for the modern tournament. So that was what I was playing for. Unfortunately, I did not make it. However, one of my friends who played in the event did, so they made top 8, and that was great, and I was highly happy for them. I did not. Ended up playing against a Goblins deck round 1 that just trounced me. I mean, it wasn't even close. And then round 2, I got paired against a really cool Rakdos Sack player. We had like a cool exchange. It got to this point where I was about to get control of the game at like 2 life, and then they drew a Kolaghan's Command to kill me. And that was that. And then, yeah, I was out of that event. But again, played some side events, had some fun, got to watch my friend crush. So that was pretty great. In any case, like I said, I had a ton of fun in Atlanta. I don't regret it at all. It was a lot of money. Not sure it was worth it monetarily, but it sure was a lot of fun. I got to meet a lot of cool people. Got to see some people that I met at the regional championship last year. That was pretty cool. I'm actually making one of them a custom token. I plan on doing that sometime this week. It was supposed to be this past week, but again, unfortunately, life has not exactly been kind in that way. It has not worked out that way. But regardless, that's pretty cool. Which leads me to another channel announcement that I'm going to talk about. So something I want to announce on here is I plan on doing custom tokens for people. That is something I'm going to start doing on the side. I plan on opening up a Patreon, letting people donate to me, and at certain donation levels, I will allow you to pick a custom token that I make. So that'll be something cool that we start doing. And yeah, that I'm not exactly sure I'm going to structure it yet. You know, more to come on that. But just something cool I want to start doing, because I really, really like making tokens. And I've made a lot for my friends. I'll showcase some here. I'll edit them in to showcase in some of the tokens that I've made for my friends. And I have a lot of fun doing it. So why not, you know, try to do something with it. And not only that, I also want to advertise for my friend. I have a friend named Dave who owns this business. It's called The Hammers Fall. And he makes custom jewelry, knives, that kinds of stuff. But also recently he has added custom tokens. He does wood burnt tokens. And I'm going to do a partnership with him where, you know, if you want a custom token made at a certain level, that, you know, I will have him make you a not only I will have the printed version of the cards, but I will also have an engraved version, a wooden token that you can get as well. And we will do something along those lines if you want to do that from him. If you want to purchase more of them, I'll have a link for his store. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool. And yeah, just some cool things going forward. The channel's gonna expand. It's not gonna just be competitive formats. I mean, we're gonna do that too, but I'm gonna expand out and do other stuff. I like Commander a lot, and I'm gonna definitely do some content regarding custom decks and stuff that I've made. Because as I mentioned before, I like making custom tokens, but it's not just that. I've also done custom altar arts of cards. Now, I'll be honest with you, I'm not an artist that paints. These are just creations I make using Photoshop and other such programs to be able to create my own versions of artwork. And then I will use places and ways to create those versions. I am not sponsoring, nor am I saying people should make proxies or do any kind of counterfeit cards, but I will say that there are definitely sites that are available if one would want to have those things printed. In any case, I will not do the printing of any legitimate Magic cards. The only thing I will print are custom tokens that I create and order for you. However, if someone does want to have like custom artworks made for decks or stuff like that, I may create a tier for that, though that would be pretty expensive because that would be very time consuming. So I doubt anyone's going to subscribe to that level. But you know, if you want to throw me the kind of money it'll take to kind of do a custom deck or a custom variant, we may do stuff like that. So we'll see. But in any case, I'll show off some of the ones I've done for myself, and that'll be pretty cool. So yeah, I like the way the channel is going. I'm having a lot of fun with it. Again, it's not really about making money at this point. I mean, I'll do things that if people want to buy them, that's great. But I just, again, if nobody wants to buy them, I'm cool with that too. I'm cool with just making content. It's fun. And speaking of, we're going to see some timeless, some standard formats coming on here. We will play some Explorer as well, of course, but for the time being, I'm going to take a little bit of a step back from Explorer. I'll still do it, but I just won't do it as frequently, mostly because, you know, after the RC, RC Atlanta took it a lot out of me, and I just don't have the love for the format I did before. And it's not because it's a bad format. The format didn't do anything else. It's just that, you know, I'm sure many of you out there have had this experience. If you have a lot of losses and something sometimes kind of like really gets to you, you just want to take a break from it and do something else a little bit more fun. So I'll come back to it. I'll get back to the swing of things. I'm not sure if I'll still be on Blue White Lotus or something else, but either way, you'll see me chucking along with something. And I'm planning on making a timeless video. That's going to be one of my next actual videos on here. And then I have a couple videos in the bank that I had mentioned earlier I recorded. They're going to be talking about proxies and Magic the Gathering, my thoughts on them. I'm going to start doing like some podcasts here and there talking about those thoughts. I'm going to call that series the restricted section, as it's mostly just going to be a rambling series about some hot button topics that aren't always exactly, you know, known to bring the peace, as it were. And we definitely have some on there. But regardless, I look forward to sharing that content with you guys. Sorry again, it's been so long since I've had to upload. I wanted to do an update to tell you about that. One thing before I forget, and I apologize. The History of Modern. It is going to be coming back in soon with a vengeance. So I apologize for the delay in that. I basically stopped doing that because it wasn't getting a lot of views. I wanted to focus more on the things that was getting more views, which was my testing for Explorer. And I'd always planned on coming back to it, but I just needed a little bit of a break from producing it. So we're going to start in the next month or two, full force going back at that again. Though I will say coming back to it, it may not be every week like it was before. It may be every other week. I am going to focus more on the content that gets more views because I do care about the channel and want to keep it growing. I would love for the History of Modern to get the most views. I would love to be like the majority of my content to just be that until we get to current day Modern, because I love Modern as a format, but it just unfortunately doesn't get the kind of views that I need to sustain and grow the channel. So it's one of those things where it's a passion project more than anything, so I plan on still doing it, but maybe just not as frequently as I was. Anyway, I did want to update you guys on that as well. So stay tuned for some more content. Once again, thanks for your patience. I'm so sorry it took me so long to upload. Life has been really crazy. Sorry that your boy didn't do well at the RC. You know, I tried. Just did not pan out well. But I had a lot of fun. Thanks for watching. Thanks for your time in general. And until next time, everybody. See ya.